Yeah, a dangerous day ahead, it looks like, because those strong winds expected to return to Los Angeles County today, posing a new danger for the wildfires that have ravaged that area for a week now. Officials say the winds could reach up to 70 miles an hour, leading to explosive growth of the fire. This comes as the fires have burned through nearly 40,000 acres, destroying thousands of homes. The winds are expected to die down by Wednesday evening. That's still 2 full days away. Meanwhile, firefighters say they've made significant progress in battling the 2 largest wildfires in the area. The Eaton fire, 33% contained, while the Palisades fire is at 14% containment. The Hearst fire is 97% contained. Joining us now live from Pacific Palisades, a town that effectively has been wiped out, is NBC's Jay Gray. Jay, what are you seeing on the ground there today, and what do we expect for over the next couple of days?
Yeah, Willie, overwhelming destruction here, and that real concern, as you talk about, that this footprint could grow in the next 48 hours. Some disturbing news to report right off the bat. We've got a new fire burning to the north in Ventura County, the auto fire right now, 56 acres burning at this point, and that's a result of the changing conditions here. Winds building overnight into the early morning, and that's just going to continue. I want to give you a look at what we're seeing on the ground here right now, and it's just complete destruction. And this is something that, again, stretches for miles across this region. Now, look, the winds, the National Weather Center says, are going to intensify as the sun comes up and reach their peak mid-morning, then continuing through midday tomorrow. Gusts, like you talked about, at times over 70 miles an hour, conditions that they say could lead to, and I'm quoting here, rapid growth and explosive fire behavior. We have seen a number of smaller new brush fires sparked as a result of these winds, but there are mobile strike teams in place right now and really scattered across the region in strategic areas to rush in quickly, and they've done that to this point, handling some of those brush fires. But I think it's worth repeating, guys. We've got a new fire burning in Ventura County just to the north, 56 acres. They're calling it the auto fire. And that's the kind of situation that is causing some real concern as we go into this 48-hour period. I would expect, and fire officials say they expect to see more evacuations, more areas put on standby and hold and ready to evacuate. And so all these areas have been living through these massive blazes and now on edge again. They can't get in and clean up any of this right now, not until the fires are contained. But they've got to worry about more flames, and that's going to be a tough go over the next couple of days here.
As you say, Jay, I mean, I know people who live not far from where you're standing, who obviously everything has been lost. There's some pockets where some homes were still standing. People could go in for 5 minutes with police to get out some things that they may need, prescriptions or other things like that. Right. I'm just curious, though, Jay, because it has been a couple of days of low winds. Firefighters feel like, as we reported, making some progress against the biggest of the fires. But are they ready for what's coming today and tomorrow, and how can they possibly be when we've learned that these winds can blow on a whim, one direction to the next, putting new areas under threat?
No, it's a great point, Willie, and you're right. They've dug in. They're on the front lines, and then we've got these mobile strike teams that I talked about. But when you pull aside some of these firefighters and talk to them, they'll say, it's not much of a fight when the wind gets to hurricane strength. Then it's just an issue of trying to protect whatever you can and trying to rescue, trying to get people out of harm's way and move people out of the direction of these fires. The problem is we'll likely see these winds really picking up, according to the Weather Service, to the north and in areas where there is a lot of fuel left. You know, there's not a lot left to burn in places like this. But to the north, you've got that dry brush and undergrowth. You've got trees that are dried out. They haven't seen rain in quite some time. And so you've got that fuel that will fire embers that are sparked up by these winds and pushed across that area. So, yeah, they're ready. They're not going to give up the fight. but it's not much of a fight when Mother Nature's weapon is winds over 70 miles an hour.
We're expecting those to kick up later this morning. NBC's Jay Gray in Pacific Palisades. Jay, thanks so much for your reporting. Let's go over to meteorologist Angie Lastman. Angie, good morning. So what is the forecast exactly for those winds today?
We're going to see those elevate, especially as we get into the later parts of our afternoon or of our morning, Willie, and then we'll kind of see a fluctuation through the afternoon and into tomorrow. Here's those 4 fires that we're watching. There's that auto fire that you heard Jay mention. 56 acres, 0% contained, but a really good chunk of this region still under that red flag warning. And this one is called a particularly dangerous situation. That's just kind of an extra layer of seriousness that is issued by the National Weather Service. Specifically, the Los Angeles area has only ever issued these 5 other times. 2 this year in January. We had a couple in November and December last year, and then 1 back in 2020. So that gives you some sort of sense of just how rare these are. And it's for good reason. We've got those extremely critical fire weather conditions lasting across this region once again today. Large fires, explosive growth, all on the table. So here's how the winds play out. As we get into the later parts of this morning, that's when we can expect the worst of the winds. So 50 to 75 mile per hour gusts. Notice humidity levels 10 to 25%, but either way, not a lot of moisture for us to tap into in this atmosphere to help us at all, along with the dry vegetation. As we get into later this afternoon and evening, those come down slightly. I mean, we make some improvements, 40 to 55 mile per hour winds, but still, we're going to still see kind of an elevated gust situation. Even as we get into overnight tonight, those ramp back up. High end 65 miles per hour, especially in the higher elevations. You'll notice that, but even closer to the coast, 20, 30, 40 mile per hour winds. And then we get into tomorrow. This is when we'll start to see a bit of relief, Willie. We'll see higher ends up to 45 miles per hour, but a little better than what we're going to be dealing with for at least the next 24 hours.
All right, Angie Lastman, thanks so much. We appreciate it. Guys, when you hear explosive fire growth coming from fire officials, that is a big warning of what may be ahead today and tomorrow.